This was the minimum suggested enclosure size for years, and still is in many care guides. But nowadays, Beardy owners demand you upgrade to the McMansions of 3 times larger setups. They require a lot more money and space for the same size lizards, but outside is really big. My time away from the reptile world led to a lot of introspection, and one of my conclusions was it's kind of messed up to be sticking animals in little boxes. Now, maybe avoiding the wild bearded dragon life with predators, disease, and not knowing when your next meal will be is worth the space trade-off. I mean, I prefer living in civilization inside a box instead of the wide open continent of just all of North America, but they've been in captivity for nearly 60 years, and yet there are still endless bearded dragons that look like circus sideshow freaks. No offense to these dragons, or to circus freaks. Not because of some unavoidable genetic issue, but largely due to negligence in care and purposely breeding bizarre combinations. But I'm kind of preaching to the choir, because anyone who tunes in to a bearded dragon video does not fall into these categories. You actually care, and you're here to improve the life of your animals, or prepare in advance if you have not yet acquired one. And since you're here, allow me to step up on my soapbox as I become another influencer vouching for a bigger enclosure than what's historically been used, which, like any good influencer, also wishes to make a profit along the way. Use code HERP10 for 10% off the best setups I've personally used, the Phalo Zoo PVC enclosures, linked below. But no matter what enclosure you land on, make it a 4x2x2 or larger. Dragons have a lot of square miles, or square kilometers, to explore in Australia. So 8 square feet, or 8 square kilometers, I don't know how many feet's in a kilometer, is the least we can offer one in captivity. A smaller enclosure, even if pimped out with nice temperatures and food and even a soft little bed, is kind of the Wall-E experience. Obesity is a legitimate issue in the reptile world. Being hand-fed goy slop on a plate while lounging on their log unironically burns so few calories that there may be a big enough market at this point for bearded dragon Ozempic. It's only a matter of time before they learn to doom scroll and get prescribed SSRIs. A larger enclosure isn't going to naturally make your beardy start doing calisthenics to stay in shape, and to play devil's advocate, you could argue just take your beardy out of his enclosure sometimes. Wow, look at that. He's free. I don't know, a lot of beardies don't even really want to go anywhere or do anything. This one in particular will sit on a table for 6 hours as he astral projects, or I don't know what he's thinking about. I probably don't want to know. If your beardy has the zoomies or something, upgrading from a 40 to a 120 gallon enclosure only gives them like a split second extra of running time, so space to explore is honestly less relevant than the other benefits of a larger enclosure. And by the way, don't let me stop you at 4x2. You can go 6x2, 8x4, stick them together like a double wide trailer. But much of a beardy's quality of life will be dependent on his ability to regulate his body temperature, which isn't done internally like warm-blooded animals, but externally by moving to warmer or cooler areas. It may sound like a small difference, but the ease of creating a gradient temperature in a slightly wider enclosure is palpable. It's so much easier. You can buy shorter enclosures with the same square footage, but go tall. The added height of 2 or more feet can be well utilized for these lizards who are known to climb. They are semi-arboreal. In the wild, this allows them to survey the area, both for food and predators. Think avoiding dingoes who can't climb, or camouflaging from birds of prey who might overlook their tree branch. And although ours in captivity may lay flat out on the ground without a care in the world because they have the first world privilege of being protected from predators indoors, they still benefit from moving towards or away their little artificial sun. Similar to how we tweak the shower temperature back and forth till it feels just right. Here's a fun bearded dragon fact. Water is necessary, but water bowls? Some keepers don't use them at all. Even though I do give bearded dragons water bowls, often big enough to get inside of if they want, I used to use 40 gallons as temporary enclosures for bearded dragons as I try and find them new homes. And because bearded dragons need such hot temperatures over a basking area that fits their entire body, aka a hot surface that's like 2 feet in diameter, it was difficult to get a water bowl far enough away in the enclosure if it was smaller than 4 feet total. The bowl was so close to the heat, it would constantly evaporate and create humidity in the air. Too much moisture may lead to an infection in dragons, as they're an arid species and thrive in drier enclosures. When provided an optimal diet of hydrating greens and juicy bugs, as well as appropriate temperatures and occasional misting so they can lick up water droplets, they can thrive without water bowls. But if you're like me and do prefer offering a bowl, the best solution? Bigger enclosure. The bowl can be super far away, and he still has enough space to walk around, do his thing, his morning routine, and if he wants, he can skinny dip or take a sip. Beardies are one of the few pet reptiles who don't feel the constant need to be hiding away. Supplying a billion hiding spots to leopard geckos or ball pythons, it's standard and it makes sense, but you'll frequently never even see hides available in Beardie enclosures, and honestly most don't seem to mind. However, I think if Beardies could talk and understand their options, I think they would tell us they appreciate having the option to go tuck themselves away, even if they don't do it very often. But they can't exactly ball up like a python. They need pretty big hiding spots. Supplying a hiding spot directly under the basking area does work if there's enough height so that the Beardie isn't right up against their light bulb when they are on the basking platform. But 16 inches of height is just really tight to fit both of these things. That extra 8 inches perfectly compensates for basically a 2-story enclosure. Being able to supply a hiding spot on the cooler side as well, say if the Beardie gets too hot and wants to cool off while being hidden or exposed, is a great peace of mind as well. It all just comes down to giving your Beardie options. A lot of pets, though they may not be able to communicate too easily, it's usually easy to tell if they're stressed or unhealthy or could just have a better life. But animals like cats are known to hide their pain or ailments as a survival instinct, show their weakness, and they become vulnerable. This means if your cat looks unhealthy, he's probably really unhealthy. I feel Beardies are similar, but not because they hide their issues, but because they are so resilient. They can tolerate extremely incorrect temperatures and diets, long stints of dehydration, parasites, even fungus. If we could test the pain tolerance of reptiles, my money is on Beardies being near the top. They just keep on going and can survive horrific conditions for years on end. And so if they can manage all this, I don't find it surprising that a dragon can look perfectly happy even while lacking places to hide or too much moisture or lacking enriching aspects to their life. I mean, they don't even know what they're missing out on, they're just trying to stay alive. And so a bearded dragon may get upgraded from a 20 or 40 gallon to a 120 gallon, and he might end up having the same daily routine, ignoring all the new options and just basking during the day, sleeping at night, and waiting for food to come along in between. But the only downside to an enclosure upgrade is the cost. And that's just part of reptile keeping. I think of pets as a luxury hobby. A lot of hobbies are expensive, but most can be put on pause at a moment's notice and stop costing money. You can cancel a membership, even unregister and uninsure a vehicle, assuming it's paid off. And worst case, the physical things that come along with most hobbies is easy to give away to other enthusiasts or even sell to them for a little bit of money. But reptiles are an interest that demand constant time and constant money and only get more expensive as they age, potentially develop health issues, or need upgrades like eating more food or outgrowing an enclosure. And finding someone to take them is a nightmare. Most reputable rescues are full, and rehoming on Craigslist is a disaster. So if you're watching bearded dragon videos as a potential future owner, just keep in mind the responsibility you're taking on is often more than what's advertised, and when you do take the plunge, I hope you try and go above and beyond. And luckily, it's not too hard. It's just these small decisions, like picking a slightly bigger enclosure, that can make all the difference. And now the part where I make money so I can pay for my own animals. ENCLOSURES sells genuinely the best enclosures, not just 4x2s, but smaller sizes for other species. Unlike their competitors that you have to bang together with a mallet, these assemble with hidden screws. It's lightweight, offers thick glass doors with metal handles, 2 cable slots, and a large metal screen for ventilation. Most brands have just 1 or 2 colors, but ENCLOSURES has a bunch. It's actually kind of fun, but I'm boring and I got black. It's my personal favorite because they are the perfect balance of price and quality. It's not $600 like a lot of enclosures, but substantially better than similarly priced competition. And when you save 10% with code HERP10, it's one of the most affordable. Purchasing ENCLOSURES enclosures with my code directly helps me help more animals because I get a commission on sales. And if you know anyone who does need to rehome their reptiles, send them over to herp.club. Thanks for watching.